Hello everybody, and we are going live yet again, and we're going to be doing some more of Beatrice today. Beatrice has much to tell, and I don't think her story has been told completely, and I don't think I've gotten her entire story myself, so this will be good. This will be fantastic. I have a feeling it's going to be really good. And yet again, I figured out how to get the I figured out how I can get the chat up. I'm gonna get the chat up real quick here, slowly but surely. I know. See, I can't get the chat up like right away because sometimes, as you know, technology sometimes doesn't work instantaneously. It's funny like that. Sometimes things don't actually. I want all messages. All messages. Thank you. So, I don't know if I should put her here. I would not put her on top of the computer. That would be kind of disrespectful, actually. And so, this allows me to use my phone and put it over there. And as I said before, any electromagnetic waves are within the microphone. And that goes to about a 3 or a 4, sometimes a 5. And that is not enough to manipulate anything that is over here. So, my hands are here. I'm going to show you. We're going to be using Ghost. So this is called Ghost AI. And I'm going to say AI is a program. It's very much like Alexa or Siri or Google Assistant or Gemini as it's come out now. And AI is just a bot. It's a bot that exudes intelligence, but it only has as much intelligence as you give it and as much as the developers will give it. Now, yes, I know there's a controversy between the artists that actually work hard and try to do things. There's that. Believe me, I lost a friend arguing over that. I don't want to lose any more friends, okay? Over semantics, I'm sorry that they're struggling in the world. I can't prevent that. And I do know that there are people that struggle because technology is taking over their jobs. I understand that. I totally get it. And that is no disrespect to people that actually make their livelihood doing that. But this whole thing of people being replaced by technology is not exactly correct. Technology needs to be managed, it needs to be run, it needs to be updated, it needs to be turned on and activated and all of that. So what's really going on is people are replacing other people, and that's not anything new. And I'm not saying that that's good or justifying it. It's totally not good in any way. But let's not get in arguments over it. It's just like, let's discuss things, but let's not make it a vendetta to aggressively show me that opinion. I get it, it's a heated subject, but if it's that heated, let's not talk about it. But some people just don't know how to let things go, and those are the people that I have to let go. And this actually did happen on Facebook. It was sad. It was sad. It was sad. So I'm putting it down. My hands are here. My hands are here. My hands are right here. And my doll is right. Beatrice, my dolly's right here. Say hi. Hi. No, I'm saying hi for her. Tap the screen when ready. All the sensors have been found. I am Alexa voice. I actually have to do that sometimes. When there's an automated voice, I will say, I would like to speak to a pharmacist. I would like to speak to a pharmacist. I would like to speak to a pharmacist. Thank you. I'll actually do that because the computer actually responds better. I'm just like, I'll just speak AI. You know, but I'm gonna say AI is not gonna probably take over your life. Probably what's gonna happen is people that know how to do that know how to actually program and manage the technology will probably take over. And so, but in essence, yes, technology will take over a lot of what was once done manually because it's more convenient. And it's a shame. It's really a shame because art is such a beautiful thing and brings such joy to people, and even to this day. But I don't think art will is on the up and out yet, just yet. I think there's hope. There's always hope. Somewhere. You know, it's always 2 o'clock. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. You know what I mean. So here we go. All right. I'm not touching it. Any cynics out there, I'm not touching it. I don't have any wires or anything. First of all, wires are not going to really help. I do have a tablet, but that's to look at my chat. Yeah, so the internet and the data are turned off. So normally AI usually requires internet. So the fact that this doesn't require internet is just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. Okay. Okay, I want you to activate the box over there. It's a box. It's a computer, but it's a box. Not that box.
Very own house with a crackling fire filled the room was a ghost.
Very own house with a crackling fire filled the room was a ghost. So some of these are auto generated, meaning yes, an AI or a bot is coming up with these sentences, but who triggers them, that's the it's not me. There's nobody else in the room. Hello, anybody else in here? No, there's nobody else in this room because it's my room. Everybody can fuck off. Fuck off! Okay, very own house with crackling fire filled the room. So that would mean her house had a crackling fire and the warmth filled the room, and she was a ghost at the time. I've been doing this for a while. I didn't know how to translate things. You have to have an interpretive mind in order to be a paranormal investigator and grey witch. You have to be open to it. At this point, if Babadook or Slenderman came up to me, I would say, "Hi, how you doing? What's going on?" He was in my room. He was in that corner. In that corner over there. Yeah. Sounds terrifying, but I've never been really scared of Slenderman. I've played the games. Immediately, I was just like, I would smoke a joint with that guy. I mean, come on. He seems chill. I mean, what? He has more than one arm? He has arms! Oh no, arms. I'm sorry. You know, there's people that only have 2 arms and they creep me out. So, the fact that you have more arms doesn't really concern me.
Powerful thing we love to build a big old tree with a good.
Powerful thing we love to build a big old tree with a good. So, love is a powerful thing that has many branches. So, with love and good intention. So, love is a powerful thing, and with good intention, it grows to be a very big tree. You know, tree of love, so to speak. I think is what she's trying to say. Is that she's feeling very content. That's kind of her way of saying that she feels that she believes in the power of love, and she feels very content here. So, you know, that's all I can expect. That's all I can ask for. Is that she's happy where she is, even if I am a klutz, even if she slides off the bed at least 3 times a day, which happens. I mean, that's why they get scuffed up, because I make one movement and somebody goes flying. Maybe I shouldn't have them all in the bed, but you know, what can I do? I want them to be on my bed. I want them to be here. Okay, what else do you have to say? Something else you want to say. And to show you that I do not have any hands. I have no hands! No, I have no hands over there. As I said before, the way this activates, if I were to pick this up just right now, it would activate. So...
Reflection in the corner and cooked meals for my family and friends.
So I reflected my life. And I made meals for my family and friends. I don't know what that is, if that's like, we'll see here. A Beatrice. So I'm gonna study. You want them to be one over the other. So you want like this. You want that to be that way. So kind of like that. So literally you want them to be steady. You want them to be steady like this. And it's okay if they're a little bit bent, because you know wire hangers are bent. You have to bend them to do that. That doesn't affect the effectiveness of these at all whatsoever. So Beatrice, what was the question? Just went out of my brain for 5 seconds.
Everything will be okay.
That was like the first sentence that actually made sense. Thanks, Beatrice. She's like, everything will be okay. I'm sitting here stressing out, and she does that. She once moved on my bed, and I was like waking up, and I heard like this sound, this kind of sound. You know, that's the sound of what's inside of her head. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake you. Sorry. She's like, I'm okay. I'm fine. Shaking baby syndrome. No, don't do that. Do not do that to a child. You can do it to your baby dolls, but not to the real children. The real children we must protect. We must protect them. Love a baby. Love the babies. Do not harm the babies. The babies are the babies. So, yeah. That was really nice, but she was on the bed, and I heard that sound, and then I look over, and she was at least a foot away from me, and then she was less than a foot. She was like almost, I would say she was like 6 inches away from me, and she had been a foot away. So she moved. Did I see her move? Did I witness her move? It is my belief that sometimes dolls
Version
don't
of
move.
the city from the hospital bed, my head throbbing.
Version of the city from the hospital bed, my head throbbing. So, this was the question. Let me see. Look at the logs. So, the bit about your family. Let's go back. The bit about your family and cooking meals for your friends, does that have to do with, afterwards, like in the afterlife? Yes. And then, so you have like a spirit family? Is your mom there? Is your mom Olivia? Okay. So we got another name yesterday. There was Elizabeth, was the sister, the 5-year-old sister that had died, also from the same killer. And then Olivia was a name that showed up, and I was wondering. I think that was the mom, and I think she was about what? Would you say that she was about? Was your
Tracks
mom?
became filled with whirring gears and tall buildings or people in sight.
Tracks became filled with whirring gears and tall buildings or people in sight. So she's talking about a city. What is this? The Spirit City? Okay, we're gonna study it again. Steady. So this is kind of a dying art, but this is how you do this. So yes. This is yes. That's a yes. So yeah, she's talking about the spirit realm. This is really exciting. She is talking about the spirit realm. She's literally talking about the spirit realm right now. That is amazing. So she's actually talking about tracks became filled with whirring gears and tall buildings of people. I think she meant of, but it said or people in sight. So this is making more and more sense, actually. This is like making a lot more sense. Here we go. Oh. So far, she's talked about her own home. So the crackling fire, was that in your cabin, in your little cabin in the woods? Yeah. Well, let's study them just to see. Yes. Yeah. So the cabin in the woods, but the city, on the other hand, we're going to confirm this. So the city that you were talking about, the city, that was in the afterlife. That was in the afterlife, right? Yeah. That was in the afterlife. So she's talking about the afterlife. So far, she's talking about... What is there, like a ghost hospital or something? Is there like some sort of ghost hospital? Is it like you woke up? There's a ghost hospital. Wow. A ghost hospital. So she's talking about she woke up, she was in a hospital, and it was in the city. Is that correct? You woke up in a hospital, and it was in a city. A city. So we can kind of get my... It was in a city. So, yeah. Yet again, confirming what we just heard. She was in a city. She woke up in a hospital. I guess this is a hospital not so much for the ill, but for possibly instructing people, lost souls, of what they're supposed to do. So this really shows that the vastness of the spiritual realm, that there are places where spirits can be safe and spirits can potentially thrive, and really tells you that there are huge cities out there. There are huge hospitals, trains, things like that. It's that they are living their life just like we are. Like, so Beatrice, would you say that that the spiritual realm is vast? Is it infinite? That was a yes. Would you say that spirits just kind of live their life just like we do? So spirits just live in cities and stuff? They just live in cities? And they have hospitals and jobs and stuff? See, when people say the dead stay dead, I don't think they know what they're talking about. I think you need to get your head out of the scriptures, my good sir, my good ma'am. and start actually experiencing spirits, because when you start experiencing spirits, I'm gonna tell you, your mind is gonna be blown. So going back, tell me more about, just tell me more. Tell me more. And yes, we will be doing other things as well.
Respectful and they seem to happen as you'll fail and then it bit.
Respectful and they seem to happen is you'll fail and then it bit. So, it's a little cryptic, but I think what she's meaning to say is, I don't think that's okay. The last bit is actually, the last bit is bit, but it says bit. It says respectful, and they seem to happen is you'll fail and then a bit. So kind of what I'm thinking is respectful until you fail. No. So what she's telling me, and this is my clairvoyant skills, as I do a weird doll move with my eyes, I'm just like doing a Katy Perry. I'm going. I'm not doing it very well. Miley
Pictures and
Cyrus.
crafted decorations.
Pictures and crafted decorations. Wow. Yeah. So something about what she's saying is, the people in her community respected her, and they were respectful, and when she failed, they were there for her. You know, she had an incredible support system immediately right off the bat. I mean, she was just a little kid, and everyone was just so willing to help her, knowing what happened. You know, they didn't even have to know what happened. They just knew by looking at her that something horrible had happened, that she was not... She's...
Exploring the hidden corners of their dreams for the weekend.
Ah! So did you explore people's dreams? Is that what you learned how to do? Did you learn how to do that? Did you learn how to explore people's dreams? That's a definite yes right there. She's like still nodding too. Wow. Exploring the hidden corners of their dreams for the weekend. So, would you say that you had a good support system the moment you crossed over? That is a definite yes. That's like yes. So she was learning how to... This is something that's
Cold
called
feelings.
cold feelings. Oh, I'm getting cold for some reason, and the window isn't open. My anti-cubital space is getting cold. Why are you doing that? She's like, because I can. So, something that she has done actually in the past has been, she has come to me in dreams. She has come to me as a very beautiful, long-haired woman, like a woman that had like hair all the way down to her hips, and just very curvaceous, very beautiful. It just, you know, kind of reminds me, I had an aunt that once kind of looked like her, but she's different than my aunt, obviously. Like, you know, I'm not into my aunt like that. Obviously, I respect and love my aunt as a good niece should. I'm not a freaking weirdo, okay, but she reminds me of my aunt, and my aunt was a very special person, and it's always been a joy to speak with her, and she's always given me her support. Although
Meaningless before my eyes and took a deep breath of fresh air in.
Meaningless before my eyes, and I took a breath of fresh air in. So the things that were meaningless, you know, the things that had happened before, let's see. Let's see. So the things that happened before were meaningless. Wait, let's steady these. Steady these bad boys. I'll put this over here because this should be here. So steady, 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 steady. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now. So you can kind of see this. So she's already saying yes. I wasn't ready. So everything was meaningless before. So everything was meaningless before. Yes, I know they're crooked. If you're ever going to say that they're crooked, yes. They're crooked. Okay, they've been through quite a bit. Okay, they're metal. They're copper. They've been through a bit. That does not mean that they are faulty or that they are bad or that they're wrong. I've had people tell me that they used wire coat hangers, actually hangers, metal hangers to find water. They don't need to be straight. They don't need to be perfect, okay? You can literally make your own at home by using some wire hangers or using some scrap metal that you find. It will do the same thing, and you will have hopefully whatever you're using it for, you'll have a wonderful experience with it.
Helped to move on to the ground face down and saw that.
Helped to move on, ground face down, and saw that. So something to do with the grave. She's just confirming that she got help. You got help to move on, huh? Yeah. So moving on does not necessarily mean, so everybody thinks this is a misconception that a lot of people have of like, well, you need to move on, but what does moving on mean to that spirit individually? Moving on could very well mean that you stick around and that you let go. What do you think of moving on? Well, to me, when I move on, that means I'm cutting off people and blocking and just making sure that the people that aren't going to cause anxiety or cause me to be triggered aren't there. And that's a form of self-care that sounds really, really... But if you're a Christian and you identify as a Christian, I'm going to say Jesus left his parents. He cut off a lot of people to be where he was, okay? Just look at the story in the Bible, okay? There is nothing wrong with you cutting off family members.
Help him play for a while and I fell to the question.
Help him play for a while and I fell to the question. But there's nothing wrong with cutting people off and not associating with certain family members or friends or close people that you've been close to. If that means that you need to be sane, if that means that if that is what's essential for your healing, then that is what you need to do. And so sometimes with spirits, moving on isn't going to an unattainable place or going to heaven or going to hell or going to wherever the fuck that they need to go. Sometimes it means literally moving on. It means, okay, I died. There's nothing that I can do to change this. There's nothing, I can't go back. There's probably not a way for them to go back. So they have to move on. They have to move on, meaning they need to move on in the way that they see fit. And that does not necessarily
Never
mean...
experienced before, it stopped and listened carefully, made our way up.
Never experienced before, it stopped and listened carefully, made our way up. I had never experienced this before, and I listened carefully and made my way up. See, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. It's what I do. It is what I do. So yeah. So yet again, it's talking about her journey, her spiritual journey. She made her way up. She listened. She took initiative. And moving on can just mean I'm moving on from reality. It doesn't mean that they've already moved on, okay? Physically, spiritually, they have moved on. They are not humans anymore. They've already made that step. They're already in the afterlife. I don't know where that is because there are infinite realms out there. But wherever they are, wherever she ended up someplace very safe. Someplace where there was a network of spirits, of people that could help her. And she, whatever it was, Winnie took her to the hospital, which was like
connected to them in a hospital, but I was taken to safety.
Right there. She's just confirming what I'm just saying. So she was connected. Winnie connected her with a hospital, which is not really a hospital in the sense, they don't get sick or ill in that sense, but it's a hospital, it's a rehabilitation. So it's there to kind of tell them, okay, so this is what's happened, this is what you've done, you've died, and we're going to go through the steps of what do you see yourself doing from here on in? Do you see yourself sitting here in this bed? Do you see yourself... And they're probably, going through the steps of what they are to do from there on in. And, I may be just talking out of my head, but is that what the hospital's for, Beatrice? Is that what it's for?
Quieter and much more peaceful for a long life and death.
Quieter and much more peaceful for a long life and death. So, her death... was more of I'm not even going to say that, but I'm going to say that probably death itself is probably a little bit more peaceful, I would say. I was going to say something else. I was like, I think there's two perspectives to this, Beatrice. There's two perspectives here. Two perspectives. One of the perspectives is it sucked not being able to live out your life. Yeah, it was horrible. It was a horrible thing. Horrible thing. There's nothing that can justify what happened to you and your family. There's nothing. I don't think what happened to you was unjustifiable and unforgivable. And I hope that whoever that killer was, I hope that haunts him for the rest of his life. I hope it haunts him after he dies. I hope that he is held accountable for it. And if not, I hope karma bites him in the ass. Repetitively. That's what I hope. That's the only thing that is the only curse that I can think of actually doing. And a lot of people are like...
Gasped in surprise, their eyes were empty and the door was closed.
I gasped in surprise. Their eyes were empty and the door was closed. So, this was kind of a realization that, that life had been closed. That the portal of life was closed. And their eyes were empty, meaning she realized that they were dead. Baby doll. Okay.
Ears and their carefree spirits reminded me of the house grew quieter.
Ears and their carefree spirits reminded me of the house. So, the people that were supporting her reminded her of her own home. And it kind of reminded her of her own family in a way, This is really sad. This is bittersweet. This is like, it's really hard because it's like, yeah, she got this great support system, but she had to die to get that kind of support. How horrible that must be to have a beautiful family, a beautiful spiritual family, but only was able to access it afterwards. So in one case, things worked out just fine for her. But on the other, there's a lot of tragedy. There was a lot of screaming and crying, not knowing what had happened and having to relive that again. And in a lot of cases, she has a very Lovely Bones kind of story where she was running and running and running.
Battered against the fading light, tending to the garden and played exciting games.
Battered against the fading light, tending to the garden and playing exciting games. So, I don't know about the exciting games, but she was battered against the fading light. Otherwise, she died. Battered against the fading light. I'll have to use that for something. Battered against the fading light. So, on one end, death turned out for her, but I'm never gonna say, oh, you know what? I think it was better that you died. No, it's never better for someone to die. Ever. Especially an innocent. When someone's innocent, it's never better for them to die. It's better for them to live. She did not get to live her life. She was cheated of that. It was stolen from her. It was robbed from her. That's what murder does. Murder takes away things. There is actually a word for when you assault someone, you take away something too. You take away their free will. When it comes to sexual assault, you're taking something away from them. You're robbing them. You're cheating them of innocence. You're robbing them of free will. And I do not...
Room and the wind had died down the hallway, hoping to find peace.
The wind had died down and I was in the room, and the wind had died down and down the hallway, and I was hoping to find peace. So she was going back to her home, thinking, okay, here we are. This is my home. Maybe I can make sense of things. That's why a lot of spirits go back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, or they go back to places that are familiar to them, because they're hoping they can piece together and figure out what happened. They're like, what can I do? Can I figure out how this is going to happen? How is this going to work out? What happened to me? And we don't think about this, but, there's some people that are just genuinely confused when they die. They're just like, did I die? Did I die? Oh. Well, that's kind of neat. Some of them are, but in this case, she didn't even know that she had died. It was very sudden. I think this was a very brutal kind of way to die that she wasn't aware of. I don't think she remembered the pain either. Do you remember pain? A little. She says she remembers a little. I can subconsciously hear spirits, so when I get tired, sometimes those abilities get a little tired too, so it's something that that a lot of children have had in the past, and I probably already had. A lot of the abilities that I have, I keep finding these abilities that I have, and I think really is that because of my Christian upbringing, because of the conservative background that I grew up, I think I was taught to suppress a lot of it. And a lot of these abilities lay dormant, but when I opened myself up to the possibilities that there were other things out there, immediately these abilities just became accessible to me. It was just like unlocking a door and seeing a beautiful garden and going. It's like, wow, was this here before? Well, think of Alice in Wonderland. It was always there, but it wasn't always accessible. So think of it as that.
Very good in the mirror in the middle of the spirits were able.
Very good in the mirror in the middle of the spirits were able. The mirror... Oh. Did you use a mirror as a portal? Is that what happened? Sorry. Pterodactyl scream. I do pterodactyls because men like pterodactyls. I'm joking. Men do not like pterodactyls, okay? They don't like shapeshifters either. Wouldn't that be horrible if somebody removed their makeup and they were a pterodactyl? That would be horrible. That would be about as terrifying if someone took off all their makeup and then turned into Danny DeVito. That would just be like, imagine this hot bod and this curvaceous goddess, and she's just like, "Hi, how you doing?" Like, imagine if it was a pterodactyl. Like, "Hi."
Needed fill my lungs and stretched my arms and legs were stuck.
Needed fill my lungs and stretch my arms and legs were stuck. So it was a little hard to move through. The portal was a little slippery. Was the portal slippery? Yes, the portal was a little bit slippery, I would have to say. It was a slippery portal. Slippery, motherfucker. She liked that. I think she liked that. Did she like that? Do you like my wand? I will be rolling. Needed to fill my lungs and stretch my arms and legs were stuck. So she was moving. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in the background, so that's why I'm pantomiming right now. So I
Ripped
don't
it out of a book and a drink we said goodbye to.
ripped it out of a book and a drink we said goodbye to. want this noise to stop. Thankfully, we're not doing any construction. There's no construction going on. It's just... I'm not quite sure what's going on, but... Meanwhile, I'm just drawing tarot cards. And I don't know what they mean because I don't have the booklet with me. Because the rings are very unique to this deck. But I do have pot tarot. So in case you missed anything, so horror as it moved in next door and a few other pieces of. So we also got tube and blood spattered everywhere and the lights, but they couldn't move on. So she's saying that there was blood that was spattered, but she still couldn't move on. She couldn't move on. The souls couldn't move on. And you need to be very careful when you're telling them, why can't you move on? They've already moved on. Now they need to move on from the trauma. They need to move on and realize they can't interact with the living like they used to, and then they have to figure out, are they going to be in contact with the people that they loved? They might not want to be in contact with the people that they knew in life, because for all we know, they could have been assholes. You know what I mean? Like, I have people that are family members that I don't talk to for a reason. It sounds cruel, but guess what? You are not obligated to put up with toxic family members, especially family members that have broken promises, that have broken your heart, that have not validated you when you needed, you needed the certain things. So So sorry. I have to mute the microphone because I don't want, I know people, have certain things going on in the background, but I don't want the background noise to be overriding everything that we're doing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, let's just say my room is...
For all that I had a full day of exciting things to do.
I had a full, exciting day full of things to do. That was cool. Sorry, I smell things. I know it's weird. I like to smell things. It's a weird quirk that I have that I like to smell things. You should smell things. I mean, for instance, this smells like... it doesn't smell like anything. I like incense. I like smelly things. I like smelly things. Have you ever smelled old books? Have you ever, gotten old books and gone... because there's just a smell to it, and a lot of people think it's weird, but, I have known people that actually like the smell of old books, or they like the aesthetic of it, and I the way I see it is it's natural, the smell is one of your senses, it's one of your main senses, so, and smell often permeates a lot of memories, so if you ever have a memory of something being really horrible, you're not going to so much remember... You're going to remember the emotions, but you're not going to remember the event, but you will remember the smell that occurred while it was happening. When that traumatic event occurred, you're going to remember
Energized and ready to start my day, I decided to climb up.
Energized and ready to start the day, so I decided to climb up. Climb up what? I mean, I'm happy for you, but I'm not quite sure what... Gotta be careful with this. This is sharp. Sharp. I'm sitting here trying to poke at Ed over here. He's like, nah, stop it. If you want to know what Ed is like a very flirty slappy. He's like, he talks like this all the time. He's like, ah. He's funny. We actually watched Goosebumps together. That's the thing that we did. We watched the Goosebumps that was done a couple years ago, and then we watched the David Schwimmer one together, so it was cool. He doesn't like the whole thing where Slappy just kept coming up. He's actually a voodoo doll, but I freed him of his... Because he was pretty much forced into this vessel. I don't believe you should force a spirit into a vessel unless they're really, really bad. And even if they're really, really bad...
Dressed in a small person sitting on a branch where the noise of...
Dressed in a small person sitting on a branch. So there was a small person sitting on a branch where the noise was. Gosh, I'm getting a lot of content. I'm getting so much information from this. This is just, mind-blowing to me. So if you're, a paranormal investigator, watch this video. Share this video with people. Yeah, share my kookiness with people. Share me. Sharing is caring. Don't you know? Anyway, he doesn't like to be on camera. He's almost glaring. Is he glaring? So, if you can kind of see, he was very much blessed. I believe he was designed to... Don't flick your tongue at me. Don't be weird. He's flicking his tongue at me. Don't be weird. No, don't do that. I don't want to kiss you. No. Not particularly right now. Not if you're being weird. You're going down here if you're going to be weird. He does things that Nobody else can see. You have to understand, there is reality, okay? I know reality, okay? Reality
Reminding them that friendship was not about perfection or shared interests, but about
reminding them that friendship was not about perfection or shared interests, but about love and trust. And yeah, exactly this. She's like, exactly, that's what it's about. Seems to be telling me that. So yeah. Other than that, this has been very productive, actually. Like, as a paranormal investigator, this is amazing. This is, I can do this at my own home. You can do this. You can get things on eBay and just set things up. So this is a ghost AI. This is on Google Play. You can access this yourself, and you can use it. If it doesn't work, then probably either your object is not haunted, you're not in a haunted room or a haunted location, or they just don't like the app. That happens consistently. They don't like the app. They're like, I don't like this app. Man, this app is not so good. Why I chose to sound like Marlon Brando in The Godfather, I didn't know why. You chose me. You chose to bother me on the day of my daughter's wedding. I haven't even watched that movie. I haven't watched The Godfather. Like, that's crazy. But, like, I never really... Like, a lot of people say it's great, but then the people that have actually watched it say it's boring. So I don't want to waste 2 hours of my time that I can't get back. I would rather watch Nosferatu.
wrinkled, their face hidden in the ocean.
Wrinkled, their face hidden in the ocean. Oh, yay, we're talking about the Amori now. Have you been to Atlantis? Have you been to Atlantis, darling? She says yes. Okay. So other than that, this has been a really eventful live. I like this, and I'm going to be continuing to talk to Beatrice as much as I can, as much as possible. And then I'm going to be going, probably I'm going to be talking to a lot of others. I have a lot of other haunted objects in my room. I know, you're not objects, you're vessels. I understand. I'm not trying to objectify you. Trying to be PC here. We're trying to objectify vessels. But, yes, thank you so much for joining. And, I shall be, going live again soon, I hope. Probably more like Sunday, because Saturday is a very, very, very busy day. Very dreadfully busy. I was going to say dreadfully blizzy. It's a blizzy day. Well, other than that, thank you for taking out of your blizzy day and joining this horribly